Many of you have been asking, where can I listen to Inspirado Projecto podcast? Well, the good news is you can hear it on Acast, Spotify, Podknife, Otto Radio, Podchaser, Odyssey, iHeart, Overcast, Podcast Republic, Podtail, Google Play, Castbox.fm, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Stitcher, Podcast Pup, Digital Podcast, Listen Notes, Mixcloud, Spreaker, TuneIn, iTunes, Blueberry, Breaker, Castrex, Rat Poison, Podbean, Player FM, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Anchor FM.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? That was brilliant. I love it. Oh my God, thank you so much. I am busy right now, but I am going to. Oh my God, I got to share that. I got to share that everywhere. I love it so much. Thank you so very much. You're so awesome. Oh my gosh, I love Orson Welles. Oh, you're amazing. Thank you. I love it.
Yo, Joe.
Ladies and gentlemen, might I introduce to you Swedish auteur Johan Garside, all the way from Sweden. How you doing, Johan Garside?
Oh, very good. Thank you for having me. It's very good to be here.
Oh, it's so good to have you here. When was the last time you went sledding?
Oh, I'm sledding now.
Oh, you are currently. This is great.
Your summers are our winters.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I was reading about
I think
that.
anyway.
My sister Jenny is here. She might have some questions for you, Johan Garside. Do you have questions about his land, Sweden?
What do you eat?
Fish. Lots of fish. And bugs.
And
it's
what?
not Swedish tradition. I just eat bugs.
Oh, okay. Do you cook the bugs or you eat them raw?
Oh. No, I've got plenty here. They're just crawling around.
Oh, okay.
Did you say they're trolling around? These bugs are trolling around. I love it. I love it. They're trolling around. Oh my God, that's so great. That's great. Oh, these bugs here, they're just trolling around. Oh man, like being cyber, like annoying cyber, creeps. Like they're trolling around. These bugs.
Crawling around. They're in my shoes.
Yeah, right. Oh, dude. Okay, so I had this idea for a this idea popped into my brain, and I said a little piece of it right at the last the podcast that I just finished up and I just put out there. And it's so funny, just like what you were saying. I took it off airplane mode. I made my description, put the title, whatever, out it went. And then that's when you texted me, and it was so funny that you knew. It's like you knew what had happened. That was so crazy.
Well, no, I sent you this text, and then I got a notification on my phone that said that Inspirado Projecto just uploaded a new episode for the podcast.
Oh wow!
And then I was like, oh, okay. So just in my head, I was like, okay, he's off airplane mode now. So watch. I just thought in my head, any moment he's going to respond to my.
Dude, that's incredible. You know what's so interesting? I didn't even know that was even a possibility, that it lets your phone know when a new episode arrives. That's so intriguing. What the heck program is that?
No, it's just my iPhone, man. Every time you upload one, it tells me right away.
Oh my gosh, it's incredible.
Yeah, like there was one day I got 3 notifications of 3 new podcasts from you, and I was like, holy crap. got plenty to listen to on my drive to and from work.
Oh my gosh, dude. Oh my gosh. It just came to me like a floodgates. And so I've just been like taking pieces from the past. And now I'm thinking about, man, I've got like lots of micro cassettes that I was recording personal, a personal journal on at the beginning of my journey when I first moved out here. So I would love to get those transferred digitally and and then play some of those artifacts on there as well. And plus, I have this four-track. I forgot what maybe it's a Tascam cassette thing that I want to be able to get all of my any tapes that I've of recordings, any 4-track recordings, anything, just get it all digital, and then so that way I can always mess with it, for future endeavors. And
Oh, say they're micro cassettes?
yeah, I got some micro cassettes, and I also got regular cassettes that I had recorded.
Cassettes. I've got a device that'll digitize it right into your.
Dude.
Into your computer, my friend.
Oh my god, dude. Okay, that is awesome to hear. That's fantastic. Also, do you by chance have a VCR thing
VHS?
that can do that?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You're talking Video Micro, my friend.
Dude, okay. Okay, here's another question.
You know what?
Yeah.
I could do micro too.
Oh my god. Dude, oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, dude. I've got some treasures. And I also got a buttload of mixtapes that I'd like to start putting up on Mixcloud. I know people put up mixtapes on Mixcloud. I'd love all those heavy metal ones that my buddy used to make for me, all the ones my cousin Dan used to make for me. Oh my god, that would just be a dream come true to get all those just up there and out into the world. And oh man, that would just be a dream. That would be so much something. Oh man, dude. I knew if anybody had that kind of equipment, it would be you, because you're like the guy where was it? Where were you at?
I was a Boy Scout. You got to be prepared.
That's true, dude. What was it ever mentioned that MacGyver was a Boy Scout? It sounds to me like he would have been.
He must have been. I mean,
yeah.
You don't get that from just any.
Right, dude. Right.
You don't get that kind of training from just any nonprofit organization.
I love it. You boil it down to the essentials. You're like, you don't get that kind of training from any non-for-profit organization. Oh my god, dude. Oh man. Oh my god. I love it, dude. Well, I'm realizing more and more. Hey. Yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I love listening to your podcast. I love listening to how cerebral you get about the inner workings of the mind.
Oh, dude, thank you.
I love all that. Can we talk stupid for a second?
Absolutely.
I want to talk about pure pop culture, man. I just want to talk about, and I don't mean pop culture I just mean like movies and TV.
Well, can we talk about G.I. Joe? Because I really want to do that interview with you about G.I. Joe.
Talk about how much time you got?
We could split this into many episodes.
Oh my god!
Because I know you're the G.I. Joe
what
king.
Do you want to know?
Now,
dude, I'm not even close to being a G.I. Joe king. There's that know things that I don't know how they know these things, but I'm learning an awful lot about G.I. Joe lately. I got to tell you.
Well,
I love it.
Have you plotted out how you would do? I already imagine you've already probably written G.I. Joe movie scripts, like how you would imagine it to play out, who would be included. Heck, dude, maybe ideally a TV series. I mean, why not? Live action TV series. You could put.
Here's the thing.
There's so many characters. There's so much.
Here's how I feel about G.I. Joe entertainment into the future. How I would love to see it happen. First, we forget about the 2 movies that are out there currently. We forget about those. Mm-hmm. Those don't even exist. Put those out of our head. Those never made. Much like episode 1 and 2 of Star Wars. Let's pretend they were never made. Okay, so.
Yeah.
So G.I. Joe, the way it should be done is stay true to the 1980s characters. Now, the way to do that is to keep it in the 1980s. Have President Reagan, have the Cold War going on, all of that stuff. And your movie starts in 1982. No, 1983. 1983. And you basically, what I would do is base it off of the TV show and the comics. I mean, the stories are there. Let's see it. I like seeing original stories in the movies, but I'd like to see, like, kind of like The Watchmen. You saw The Watchmen, right?
Yeah, yeah,
You knew the book, right?
yeah. I think I would have made a trilogy, so they in there. But they did a great job with what they did. I think they did a great job, even with the alterations. I think they still really stayed true to the heart. They didn't make a mockery of it. They really try to do their best in portraying that in a screen format, and
Yes.
it was dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to see that for GI Joe. Hey, you got ridiculous characters like Bazooka, right? He wears the football jersey.
Yeah,
There's 12 or 14 on it. And yeah, he's got to be out there
dude,
in that costume.
dude, yeah. And yeah, the most unironic and, like completely unapologetic, like we don't call attention to it. No nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Like, oh, look what we're doing. Yeah, I know he's wearing this football jersey. No, it's like, yeah, that's what it is. And
Yeah.
you look over there and there's the karate dude. You're like, yep, that's just how it is. We got a karate
You don't
dude.
put him in a black leather suit and then give him beading on the sides of the suit that's, maybe correspond. It's like a shout out to his original costume, like a letter.
A shout out.
No, we're paying homage.
Shout out.
No.
A shout out. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like
A shout out.
bring
Oh,
back Knight
God.
Rider in the 90s or in the 2000s.
Yeah.
And it was a different car. It was like a Mustang or something. That didn't.
Oh, yeah.
That's not Knight Rider. That's not Kit. That's how I feel about this. So they stick to that, and they base the story off of the comics and the TV shows. You're solid.
What would be the first story that you'd like to see of it? Do you think it's even necessary to show an origin story? Or
No,
do you
not
think
really.
it's just, let's jump in the middle of it, kind of like Star Wars? Like,
Well, no,
okay, here we are. We're just hopping into their
You
lives.
remember the cartoon, right?
Yeah, it sounded like they never made any callbacks to any other previous missions. It was each one existed on their own. They might as well have just each existed in their own parallel universe. Maybe that's what I was being taught way back then. And didn't even realize it, that it was like, okay, here's one universe, here's one thing.
That's right.
They don't have to be stitched together.
That's right. And there's some key components to each side that I think could be blended together. So, for instance, I would start basically with the storyline from the cartoon, the real American hero. Bring in the mass device that's in that cartoon. I know way too much, you guys. I sound like a geek, but bring in the mass device.
Dude, this is.
And then I would blend in storylines from the comics, which I'll be honest, I'm not as familiar with, but there are key things I would bring in. Eventually, towards the end of it, of the franchise. I mean, I'm talking movies here, not just one. You'd have the Cobra Civil War. Oh my God, I'm telling you, I know way too much about it, but I would follow those storylines and blend them together a little bit, and I would keep true to the costumes. Destro has to have that voice. Cobra Commander has to have that voice. It's just what it is. But you can't pick like The Rock to be Roadblock. There's the I can't think of his name right now. There's that actor. He was in Lost. He was always quiet.
Oh.
He would be a badass Roadblock.
Oh, Mr. Echo.
Yes. There it is, Mr. Echo.
Whoa. And the interesting thing is, what's interesting is, I think if you pick good actors and people who look like the parts, rather than having to go for huge, like Mr. Echo, it's awesome because it's like there's sort of a cult following in that, and they'll follow that dude around wherever he'll go. Now, like, I think like when they start like casting these huge actors in these roles, those actors want to make sure that their faces are seen, and and they're like, okay, we're getting our money's worth. Now, if you cast sort of, I don't want to say unknown actors, but I mean, look what they do with Star Wars movies and stuff. You know, you just got good actors.
You have good.
Um,
You know
who
here's who I would pick for Duke, and it's a young actor, relatively new. I mean, he's not old like Harrison Ford, but I'd pick Chris Pine for Duke.
Ooh, he would be a good Duke. He
Yeah,
would be a good Duke.
he'd be perfect, and for um, I put some thought into this,
Wow.
and for Flint, I'd use Clint Eastwood's son. I don't know if I can't think of his name right now. Is it Scott Eastwood? But he
Oh, I
looks the
think so.
part, man, and he would be that serious. I don't know.
Whoa. Whoa. So okay, so in your dream team of, because I know you've talked about like before, people going, holy cow, you know, those are great picks for these parts. In addition to the ones you've mentioned, what are some of the others that you've brewed up in your
I'll just
brain?
try to run through some and see. I've had this conversation with people before, so let's see. Okay, Scarlett, Emma Stone, um, Snake.
Ooh.
I'd leave it at Ray Park. That guy's perfect for it. I
Oh yeah.
Okay, the guy who played the Mummy in the Mummy movies with Brendan Fraser,
Oh
that tall bald guy,
yeah, yeah.
the Cobra Emperor, Serpentor, right?
Whoa, dude, he would be a good Serpentor.
Uh, what's the
Whoa.
guy? Jackie Haley, the guy who played Rorschach.
Oh yeah, that guy. Yeah.
Cobra
For who?
Cobra Commander, right
Oh
there. Boom.
shoot,
Right.
that's good.
That's a good one.
That's good.
Now I don't know how I. Well, hold on. I'm not going to go to Destro yet. Let me think of Zartan. Who do I have as Zartan? Oh, and this is again another kind of.
These are great picks.
How about
I could totally man these guys.
how about Benedict Cumberbatch? I'd have him as Zartan.
Ooh, that would be good.
Right? That's a good one.
That would be really good.
Um,
Yeah, he would be good.
well, Destro, I automatically want to see Ving Rhames do it, but then I don't want to see him do it at the same time. I have
Yeah.
feelings about that one. Okay, how about this one? What's his name? Brock Lesnar.
I just thought of a completely absurd thing, as if
Yeah.
you if just it's so ridiculous where we actually get the Darth Vader guy to do the voice of Destro. How hilarious would that
Oh
be,
my
dude?
God.
We get him to be the oh my God,
You know
dude.
what though?
Could
know
you
what?
imagine?
I think the guy who did the voice of Destro is still alive.
Wow.
The Cobra
Oh, dude, that would be great.
dead.
Get the original voice, dude.
Yeah.
Whoa, that would be good.
That's the one thing they did right in the Transformers movie was they brought in the guy who did the Optimus Prime voice.
Yeah, dude. Wow. Wow. Um,
But
wow. That's cool. So what about for Cobra Commander? I mean, when he's got the shield on his face and everything, couldn't it be the original voice of that guy?
yeah, but you know what? No, the original voice, that guy, he's dead.
Oh, I didn't know
He
that.
was
I
also
didn't know that.
Star. Yeah, he's dead.
Would you
but
still have it be like
would-
squeak, like Starscream?
I would. Okay, so that's what I would do. I would ask Jackie Earl Haley, I think is his name, right? I'd ask
I think so.
him, do your best, because I feel like he can own that role with great.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But and I just say, hey, look, try to do your best voice like this. You know,
Dude, you know
Would
what?
he come
It sounds like it sounds so gravelly and stuff. It almost sounds like his throat is like cut face in the throat or something like that. Like he's got damage to the throat, and that's why it sounds like that. Has it ever been
Is that
explained why?
his voice isn't permanently like Rorschach, though, is it? I mean,
Well, I'm thinking like for the Cobra Commander. You know how the Cobra Commander, he's like, rah, rah, rah.
oh yeah,
Like he's got like as if his throat was cut at one time
yeah,
or something. You know, like there was some kind of manglement to it.
like years of smoking.
Oh my gosh.
But
So, who else could you imagine in some of these? Like, say, for instance, It's Tomax and Zaymot.
Okay, Tomax and Sama, I got it. Okay, I don't know his name, but remember the guy who played the Scarecrow in the first Batman movie? That with
Dude,
you know which one I'm talking
whoa.
about? Dark Knight
Yes,
movie. Oh,
Not Cecil. Uh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Cyril, or something like that. I forgot his name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he would be good.
that's a good one. Yeah, he just plays both of them. And then let's see, Woody Harrelson as Wild Bill.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
That's awesome.
did you ever have GI Joes growing up? What did you have?
I had GI Joe guys. I think I had Clutch. I think I had Mother. I think had him. Did he come with the Jeep? He came with the Jeep, didn't he? Didn't they usually?
Then you're starting to cut
Oh,
in and out.
the guy Clutch, was he a part? Did he come with the Jeep?
Yeah, so Clutch came out in 1982. He was straight arm. That means, remember swivel arm battle grip?
Oh yeah, that's right. The straight arm, and it was tricky when you put a machine gun in their arm. It was like,
Yeah. Yeah, so before swivel arm battle grip, you had the 1982 figures, and they were all straight arm. Their plastic was more brittle for some reason, and their thumbs always broke off. And then, but Clutch, he came with the Vamp, which is the Jeep that had the laser guns on the back, had the
oh
gas
yeah,
can, the
oh
rack
yeah,
in the back. The
oh
steering
yeah.
wheel to that is actually really hard to find. It's almost
Did a lot of
always
kids
broken.
lose that?
Yeah, because it doesn't stay in there very well.
Oh,
In 1983, you have two sets of figures that came out that year. You have the 1983 run, which consists of like Duke, Gung Ho, Tripwire, those guys. Then you had then they reissued that same year 1982 figures, but this time with swivel arm battle grip. So they reissued like Breaker, Scarlet, Snake Eyes, Clutch. Um, yeah. So there you go. That's more information than you wanted to know about Clutch?
how long was it between when they first issued that original just straight arm uh, um, molding, so to speak? How
So the straight
was it? A
arm,
year? Was it a couple of
one
years
year.
before they released swivel arm battle grip?
It was 1 year. So 1982 was the only year that it was straight arm.
Ah,
Then 1983 they went over to swivel arm.
oh my
They
God.
reissued all again in '83, and those figures are called the '82 '83s because they were issued in '82 and '83, and they were the '82 figures just now with swivel arm battle grip. So all those same
Now,
green guys, Scarlet, yeah.
yeah, because you would see that some of them had similar faces too, which was always interesting. And it's like, oh, well, his hair is just red, or oh, his hair is just now black,
Oh,
or
sometimes
you know,
there's slight variations in things. Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was so
I mean,
interesting. It was so interesting to watch the evolution.
for instance, I have a Destro. Well, I have three Destros, and there's a difference. There's a difference in them. One, this is going to sound so weird. The date stamp is on the butt. No, it's on the inner thigh. The date stamp is on the inner thigh of that one. It says Hasbro 1983, but or Hasbro 1984. That's what it says. But there's another one that doesn't have a date on it at all. It's a little bit more rare. I don't know if it does anything for the price jump at all. But I just happen to have one. I didn't try to get it, but I was like, wow, that's cool, And that was the earlier version. That's for some reason they made a mistake or something and forgot to put a date stamp on it or something. But that's the type of variations that are out there when you're looking at collecting stuff. And it's not like, well, for me at least, I'm not like going, I must have this, I must have that. It's just, wow, hey, look what I found. That's kind of fun. You find it in the wild, you hunt it down and, oh, hey, look at that. That's cool.
Wow, I could imagine a great sort of a photo essay book with people showing off their GI Joe collection and also their knowledge, interesting hidden little things like that little gem like you're talking about, because imagine there might be a whole bunch of things out there that you don't know about that people just haven't even reported yet, like for instance, does anybody else know about what you just told me? Like, did you say any of that in
Yeah.
forums? Like, I'm sure you got people out there who are like, holy cow, wow, that exists, or like, oh yeah, I got one.
No, that the Destro thing is definitely something that collectors know about. It's not.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's because I got that information from other collectors.
It's just so cool because the more that you start learning, trip, come across some other thing that you're like, oh, what's that now, and then you realize, oh my gosh, I had this thing all along, didn't even realize that it's this thing, must be interesting, that kind of those kinds of
I do
epiphanies.
have some stuff like that. My oh, are you still there? Hurt?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
Oh.
Okay.
Here, let me move around and see if it's my bad.
Well, maybe I need to move to a spot here. I just moved. Maybe this will be a different.
Yeah, I'm moving too. All right. Yeah, no, I actually have something that's rare, but it's from my childhood. It was something that I got as a gift. I got it for Christmas. I remember getting it. It was 1986 because that's the year that this came out. What I would have been 11, I guess. And it was this 5-pack of GI Joes, and it was the special missions to Brazil. And it was 4 guys that already came out that year. You had Leatherneck, Wetsuit, Mainframe, and Dial Tone, and they were all repainted different. There's like silver and they were in just darker colors. There's still some yellow stuff, but there was a repaint. And then they also created one new character that was made up of other figures' body parts, and his name was Colonel Claymore, and he led that special mission to Brazil, and it was a Toys R Us exclusive, and I just happened to get it for Christmas, and it came with an audio tape too. You played the audio tape, and it had this really horrible.
An audio tape? That's awesome.
It is awesome in theory, but when you play it, it's like it sounds like a couple guys with a tape recorder in a bedroom making voices. So, you know what I mean? And then they went into the jungle. It'd be like me doing it right now.
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Roadblock. It sounds like that. That sounds like I'm exaggerating, but I'm not.
Dude. Oh my God, dude. Wouldn't that be funny if we made a G.I. Joe serial? Like a 3-minute show, like 3-minute G.I. Joe serial, and then, what'll happen next week? Well, Roadblock find his shoes.
Oh, man.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, well.
So okay, have you? It must have been interesting watching the different evolutions of GI Joe throughout time, like watching how because I remember there was a time when the cartoon looked quite different. It had a very different style, and so then
the deal with the cartoon is it was with Sunbow, and Sunbow did the original run of the cartoon from 1984, I think. Until like 1987, when they did the GI Joe movie, where that you have the Cobra la 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 la.
Oh yeah.
That was the last cartoon that Sunbow did, and then I guess Hasbro cheapened out. They didn't want to pay the quality price anymore, so they went with Deke, the same company that did like Inspector Gadget. And so it's very different, stylings. And so, but they had the same voices that they used to have, at least for a little while. But once it gets into those cartoons, I really don't know too much about it because I don't care about those.
What year did those start appearing?
I think. Yeah, it would have to be. It have to be 1988. Those start.
You're more of a what's the
Oh,
farthest your how should I say your knowledge or interest dip how far does that
oh,
dip into that era? What's the
my
like the
knowledge is
closest it
pretty
touches?
wide span throughout 1982 to 1994. That's the run of GI Joe. But my wheel, as my
Oh,
wheelhouse for
okay, okay.
collecting is 1982 to 1986. But I bleed into 87. I bleed into but now just recently I've been reaching out to the 90s because there is some. If I look at the figures differently, because they're all from about 1990 onward to 94, they started doing weird stuff like making the color costumes bright. They brought in like dolphins for that squirt water. They brought in like yeah, it was weird,
Oh,
man. Like they did another version of Deep Six, and he came with a dolphin, like this big rubber dolphin that was bigger than he was in the package, like you buy a figure off the peg. So it was a little silly, and it was just. And there's one guy. It looks like Homer Simpson. I can't think of his name. He's from the '90s, and he looks like Homer Simpson in his nuclear outfit, you know. And he takes off his yellow
oh my gosh.
helmet with like this face shield, and he looks like Homer. He looks like a real version of Homer Simpson. It's kind of weird. But anyway, notice
Now,
notice that those
let
figures actually have some
yeah.
quality in them by the campiness of them, and I'm appreciating them on a different level now. Plus, I've got
Oh, that's
just about
cool.
every figure from '86 to '82, so I gotta branch out of hobby.
Oh, that's cool.
But
Now for that GI Joe movie, would you hire any of the writers of
oh shit,
any of the, like let's say for instance, would you put the comic book guys in the same room with the animation
here,
writers, and go, okay, guys, let's
here's what I would
brainstorm
do.
on this stuff.
Here's what, if I were directing, if I were producing and directing this movie. Let's pretend for a moment that I'm directing and producing this movie, and I would immediately, without hesitation, contact Larry Hama and say, please, 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 please write this movie. And I would give just my thoughts on it. Being director and producer, I would just say, be true to the brand, be true to the cartoon, be
That's
true
cool.
to the storyline of the original comic book. Try to incorporate the two, mix them together. Who do you want on your team to help make this happen? Who would be best fitted? You know more than anyone. Who would you bring in to stay?
Oh, that's cool.
And I would let him build a team. That's what you got to do right there. Boom. That's how the GI Joe.
That's great. Oh my God.
And then as far as costume design, as far as that goes, and as far as making sure it's true, you bring in Ron Rudat. That guy designed all of the GI Joe figures. And in fact, remember the character Leatherneck? Uh,
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what he
he
looked
was
like
all he was in
right
green
now. I remember his
camouflage.
name.
He and Bazooka always hung out. Oh no 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 no! He and
Oh.
Bazooka didn't hang out. That was Alpine. I'm sorry. But Leatherneck and Wetsuit used to hang out. That's what it was.
Mm.
But anyway, Leatherneck. He's a Marine. He's in green camouflage. Um, his face sculpt is after Ron Rudat.
Oh,
And I
wow.
think his name is also a take on Ron Rudat's name somehow. I think.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So, but that guy, the guy who sculpted it, I bring him in as like costume consultant, make sure everything's the way it should be, and
Wow.
staying true to GI Joe, and then bring in awesome costume designers to make it happen. Of course, this is a fantasy, right? So But anyway,
Wow.
I would do for G.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, and casting, you just who cares about getting some big star? Get people who can do the job and do it well. You know.
Yeah, because I'm thinking then more can be put into the story and the just the production design of it, more of that believability of that particular world. Now, would you have them utilize laser, sort of like laser guns, like in the cartoon, or would there be bullets?
That's a very good question, and I've thought about this too. And there's part of me that would like to see lasers, but the only reason there
Hmm.
were lasers was because it was a kids show on TV. They couldn't have bullets.
Right, that's right.
I mean, that's why all of them had lasers. I mean, He-Man had lasers, Transformers, they all did. They all did. So,
Oh yeah.
and Mask had lasers, and that's.
Oh, that's true.
But if you read the action figure, the contents list on the action figure packaging, it actually tells you what kind of gun they come with and what kind of arsenal they have. They talk about
Yeah.
its missiles and what caliber bullet it takes. So so I think I'd actually go with bullets. But here's what I would do: I would throw in tracer bullets, and you know what a tracer bullet is, right?
Oh, would it light up?
Yeah, and I would have GI Joe have red tracers, and I'd have
That's
Cobra
great.
blue tracers, and
Brilliant.
that's
Brilliant. Brilliant. You can combine the both worlds.
hell yeah. and the,
Oh, that's good. That's
again,
cool.
this takes place in the 1980s, so I mean, you still have guys like Breaker and Dial Tone who are
Oh,
very useful in the field.
dude, I love it, dude. And they don't have cell phones. They just got that, which is funny because which is interesting because we always hear about how the military is like 30 years ahead of us, in terms of, or we're actually 30 years behind in technology within the military. So it's interesting to think that, so you put it in the military in that days with only the technology that they had back then.
You
So you
know,
still have like this.
you know, there's a guy out there, a human being already with a chip in his head somewhere that has the abilities to
Oh yeah.
control
Oh my
technology.
God, dude. Oh yeah.
That already exists.
Oh yeah. And the body's being remote controlled.
Hmm. Yes, I think so. I think so.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Uh oh. Uh
Yes.
oh.
For
Oh, so now let's say, I want to ask you now, did you ever get any of the action figures, like what were they, 12 inches tall? The guys with the hair on them and stuff?
No, I was never into the 12-inch dolls. I shouldn't say dolls, action figures. I was not into the big ones because they weren't my time. My cousin, however,
Right.
he's just slightly older than I am, and I remember he had GI Joes. Now, I also remember my family trying to convince me that those were GI Joes. I'm like, no, those are. I don't see. It doesn't say GI Joe anywhere. That's not GI Joe. And look at it. Look how big it is. That's on
Yeah.
GI Joe. I said that's not. I remember as a kid saying that that's not even an action figure. That's a doll. Because
Oh my gosh.
so the only action figures I ever had were Star Wars and GI Joe. So I always had the little ones,
Right.
not this. Not the bearded GI Joe. Not a real.
Right.
But my cousin had him, and he was a heavy metal guy. He was a drummer in a heavy metal band, and no, in a speed metal band. And he at one point in his teenage angst took the dolls and shaved mohawks into their
Oh
hair
my God.
and gave them
Oh my God.
tattoos.
Oh wow.
Now if I found out he still had those, I'd ask him if I can add them to my collection. Only because
Oh my God.
that was that's what I knew as the original GI Joe, which
Whoa.
I was still not convinced.
Dude.
I
Oh my.
was still not convinced they were GI Joes for years, man. For
Dude,
years.
wouldn't that be funny? This just popped in my brain. Is like after the credits roll, they you know, maybe the Joes come upon this mountain and they climb past it and they see that there's this land of like GI Joes that are like huger than them, like giant sized GI Joes. And so it kind of plays off that idea of like the action figure GI Joes and like the 12-inch dolls, so to speak. So where it's like, you know, we add this other element of like, oh my God, we're not the first ones.
How about this? So I always thought that GI Joe should have a little bit of history. There doesn't need to be an origin story, but as the movies go along, we intertwine this new original storyline that goes along with the old storyline.
Oh,
And the Joel Colton, who is what GI Joe is named after. Joe Colton is the original GI Joe.
oh wow.
And I think it would be awesome if he was like the platoon leader in Vietnam, or you know, and his troops were like, you know, Duke, Hawk, and maybe Stalker, and then like even yeah, so those guys would be in like their platoon, and so Joe Colton would be older, and that's how you can introduce him. So like there's this history that every now and then gets flashed back to of them in Vietnam together.
Ooh, that's awesome.
And maybe once that part is like that part of the story is done, and we've introduced Joe Colton. Maybe there's some weird thing later on where there's a enlarging ray, and he gets zapped, and he's enlarged to what his scale would be to a 3.
Oh my God. Oh my God, that would be crazy. That would be insane. Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. Wow, dude. I love it. Oh my God. You know, and then what happens is it just so happens that they need his help. The military needs his help. Or the current, you know, the current way that GI Joe is created, they now have to get his help to battle some big sea creature that's climbing out of the ocean or something. Now he's got to fight him.
You know who would play that part? That would have to be Robert Redford.
Oh shit, yeah. Oh my God, dude. Oh, that's good. That's good.
See, there's your big name. You bring your big name in there because you can all, you know what I mean? Like he could go out in a blaze of glory somehow, you know, and but you still have that.
Wow, dude. That's incredible. That's
good,
incredible.
Right?
You know, I'm so surprised that someone didn't at some point invent. I bet you in the direction that it was going, because they had that crystal ball guy. You know, what you said, it was based off of Vincent Price. I'm thinking if they continued down that path, sooner or later they would have made a time machine guy, like a mad scientist who makes time machines. And I bet you they would have had Old West GI Joes. They would have had future GI Joes. They would have had, you know, 1800s GI Joes. I just had this interesting feeling that it would have headed in that direction.
Okay, I guess. Okay, so they just had the last Joe Con ever back in, I think it was Tennessee. I think it was in Tennessee. Anyway, they had the last Joe Con, and at one of the panels that they had there, I didn't go to this, by the way. I just heard about it. One of the panels there, they talked about how it was. I think the panel was called GI Joe after 1994, and they had like the plans for that, and they were bringing more monsters into it.
Wow!
Like, yeah, they had something where like the GI Joes would turn into monsters.
Oh,
like somehow they were, yeah, and it was a response to, remember the real Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
And they had like these ridiculous ones I didn't like, but they like flip out and like change into things. So they kind of did that they were going that direction with G.I. Joe, because that was popular, and so was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I believe.
Whoa.
So they were kind of trying that out.
Whoa.
Which, if G.I. Joe had just kept going, eventually they would have gotten into something like
Holy cow, could you imagine? Okay, since they got the blueprints for that, imagine, this just popped in my brain. How interesting would that be? Let's say throughout the course of these films, we see little hints of those monsters or whatever it is that they're imagining. Like, okay, if they say, Duke turns into this werewolf kind of guy or whatever, dinosaur guy or whatever, it'd be interesting if during the series of these movies you see quick 30-second scenes of these creatures and people are like, what do these creatures have to do with anything? Well, what it is, it's a flash forward to the future is what it is. And we don't realize that, oh my God, that's the creature that, this person ends up turning into in the future. And, throughout time, that's what was so cool with like Lost or even Westworld. They eventually started making other scenes that then filled in the blanks between that other scene you saw long ago and then that other scene that happened recently. And you go, oh, this is the scene that fills in the blanks now that's playing. And
Well, that here's what I would do for the entire um, GI Joe franchise. I think it would have to be 4 movies long. You'd have the first movie that starts off early. You got the mass device as your main. Um, I don't know if you can call it a MacGuffin, but it's the center of the story. Then the second one, I do the weather control device, and I would mix in that time period of comics into the storyline. But I would stick with the weather control device because it was just such a cool storyline. It's my favorite of all of those cartoons. But so every season they'd have a mini series, a 5-part mini series. Do you remember those?
oh yeah, dude. Wow.
It was because it was just we knew that there was this one week we're gonna get 5 cartoons and that was it. There wasn't like 24 cartoons after that. They did that a Real American Hero. I remember I was watching all week and on Wednesday, and I was also recording it on my VHS at home. But on Wednesday I couldn't record because I was in Cub Scouts and I had a den meeting to go to.
Wow.
And so we watched it at the den meeting, but for years I'd rewatch it without Wednesday there because it was right in the middle of it all. It was just, I always remember thinking, what happened? I can't remember after years and years went by. But anyway, so then I go from Revenge of Cobra, which was the weather control device. Then from there I go over to Arise, or no. There's one miniseries called The Pyramid of Darkness. It's so weird. At one point, Snake Eyes is dressed up like in drag, and he's dancing on a stage with Shipwreck. It's very strange.
What? This really
Yes,
happened?
yes.
What happened? Were they cast under a spell?
They meet up. They're trying to escape Cobra City or something like that. And there's this, I don't know. And then there's the Fatal Fluffies.
The what?
So then so then GI Joe goes up in space to the space station, and Zartan is in disguise on the shuttle, and he reveals himself, and so do the Dreadnoks.
Uh-oh.
And then they unleash these little furry things, and they're these cute things. They look like Mugwai from Gremlins. You know what I mean? And then Zartan blows a little whistle, and they grow into these gigantic monsters, and they're called Fatal Fluffies.
Oh no.
It's weird. It's weird. I don't know as though I'd include that Pyramid of Darkness series. I think I'd go straight from Revenge of Cobra to Arise, Serpentor, Arise. And that's where they, of course, make Serpentor by collecting the DNA of famous, what would you call them? Madmen that ruled countries. But anyway, so they got the DNA of all these dead dictators or whatever, and they make this one, they make Serpentor. So I'd do that. And then you got to end it with Cobra Law somehow. Got to end it with Cobra Law. And that has all those monsters we were talking about.
Wow. How interesting. So there were times when
torn on that. GI Joe fans would be like, "What? Oh, I don't know about Cobra Law. It gets a little weird." But the same guys would probably also say, "But you gotta have them. You gotta have them. You gotta have the Cobra Law." And that's where I'd end it. There's probably guys who are deep into the '90s figures that are like, "Oh no, no, you got to keep going." But I would just end it. That would be like the grand finale of the Cobra Law. Four movies, you're done.
Now this just popped in my brain. Okay, so you have those particular movies. Now I'm thinking, what if, like you were saying, that they had a 5-issue, or a 5-series limited series, or whatever. What if there was, let's say, a Netflix, Amazon, something like that? There's a blast of 5 of those that basically maybe, because it sounds like the things that you explained to me were mostly the cartoons. What if we do blasts of 5 in between each of those movies, that are more comic book based, and yet still connect those movies together?
There you go. I like that idea. What if
That might be kind of
like
fun.
the comic book, and you made it like a cartoon, like Star Wars Rebels or Star Wars.
Oh, that would be neat. Oh, that would be neat.
Almost more like, and what I mean by like those, I don't mean the animation. I just mean the fact that it's running serial for seasons. For,
Yeah.
however it is. But I would do it. I would do it with motion capture, and I would do it.
Ooh, rotoscoping kind of motion capture, huh?
Maybe so. Yeah, like how they did.
Are you saying like
yes?
Look to it, or
Yeah, but make them look like the original cartoon. But yes.
Oh, yes, gotcha.
Or no, not even the original cartoon, the original comic book. Give it that style. That's based on.
Ooh, that's good.
So make it like that and pull it off like The Watchmen, man. The Watchmen was a great movie. And there's people who will argue that point and say the ending is not exactly the same, and I'm okay with that. That makes it special. That makes it different, just a little bit different. But the rest.
Yeah, I think I've learned. Oh, how many times have you seen it?
Not in the hundreds, but anytime it's on, I have to stop and watch it. It's a beautifully made movie. It just looks amazing. I remember the trailer with that Smashing Pumpkins song playing, and it was just like,
oh man,
crap! I've got to see this.
Oh yeah, the slow motion of the fight scene and everything with. I mean, God.
That cool music in the background. It was badass. But anyway, yeah, I would do the comic like that, or the comic, the cartoon based on the comic like that.
Because there's so many stories, so many little things that just something would have to be sacrificed if it was only just movies. Now, if there were also, like those little bursts, those little 5-episode, 6-episode bursts, and then you can put in all those other crazy, like you get Zartan and all that stuff that's going on, and
Tripwire.
Oh my God!
Tripwire is a figure that no one wanted. It was an exclusive to. Oh shit! I can't remember who it was an exclusive to, but it was an exclusive to a store, and it came with an audio tape, and it was. Do you remember the action figure Tripwire?
I think I do.
He was all green. He had black goggles, and he has a like a metal detector, and he has a backpack full of mines.
Oh, yes. I think my brother Josh had him.
Yeah, so they made that guy, but all in red and orange.
Interesting.
And no one wanted him because it was ugly, and so everyone passed it up. But now it's one of the most rare figures you can find.
Ooh.
It's attainable, but it's financially a little bit out of my reach. I can't justify it.
Well, it would be great to definitely squeak him into the G.I. Joe movie. I mean, those little nods, those little tiny. I mean, and especially the characters that, if there'd be a funny way to like find a way to sneak the special characters, the UPC code, characters into the movie where, I don't know, where like, what? Yeah, what are you thinking?
I just had a thought on
Hmm.
Listen and Fun Tripwire. I could see it where he's getting ready to go into a minefield to detect mines, and he hits this power button on his side, and his pads light up like this reddish orange hue, and he says, "Okay, that it's putting out some sort of signal that keeps the mines from blowing up somehow."
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
And that's the tribute to Listen and Fun Tripwire right there. Boom.
Oh, that's cool.
He's all. Yeah.
Man.
See, so I mean, I don't know. It's it's a fun hobby.
Well, and there are just so many characters out there.
Oh my God, you're not kidding. There's like, I don't know how many hundred, but I think there's 500 and some odd figures that are out there, and there's a lot of them that have been, like there's different versions. There's like you have rock and roll, but you have rock and roll version 2, and Snake Eyes has like 69 different versions.
That'd be great if Snake Eyes continues to look different each time you see him throughout the movie.
I only have Snake Eyes in 2 costumes. I'd have, bless you.
Thank you.
I'd have Snake Eyes in 2 costumes. That first one from 1982.
Commando, right?
Yes. And then version 2 with the night goggles. Almost like how he looked in the movie.
Oh.
Really, Snake Eyes in those 2 movies is about the only thing good about those movies. To me.
Mm-hmm.
Others may think they're amazing. I don't know. If they do, I haven't met.
I mean, gosh, you could always have offshoot films or TV shows of just the stories of a few of the Joes at a time too, which would be cool. You know how they know each other, and
you know what they did? They actually blended 2 toy universes with GI Joe. So you have, and it's not who you think it is. Who do you think I'm talking about? The other toy franchise that's blended with GI Joe.
Oh wait, hold on a second. Now, it was Transformers, right?
Yes, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Transformers and GI Joe, their universes have crossed paths before.
Oh.
I'm actually talking about Mask.
Whoa, those universes crossed over, Mask and GI Joe?
Yeah, because
wow.
Mask was Kenner, and Hasbro bought Kenner. That's why Hasbro makes Star Wars movies now, or Star Wars action figures now. And so they also make Mask. Well, they haven't made a new Mask line, but they did bring Matt Tracker into GI Joe. There's a Matt Tracker GI Joe figure.
Whoa.
And he has the mask. He looks like Matt Tracker. He has the mask and everything.
It's incredible.
So Mask is part of it too. So you could start a whole Mask franchise movie off this.
Wow.
And you can also start over on Transformers and do it justice. And also, these toy lines have to be in the 1980s. They need to be period pieces.
Wow. Incredible.
If you will.
Wow.
What else you want, man? I have definite opinions about G.I. Joe. And the figures. I love the action figures. I got to be honest. I love them.
Well, they're so, it's so great. It's like when you have a background detail for each of these guys, that was the very smart thing to get imaginations running wild for kids, for anybody at any age with those guys, is that they give you the story. And plus, whatever it is you see in the series, you kind of get this idea as to their behaviors and stuff. And then you look at that back thing and it's like, okay, this guy does this or he likes that or whatever. Now, all of a sudden, there you go. Now, all of a sudden, it's like the earliest form of improvisation that could ever be taught to a kid. It's just like,
Here's what was genius about that. The marketing that they did on that was amazing. One, the file cards that are on the back of the action figure and on the back of the vehicles that describe the character, those were all written by Larry Hama. Then Larry Hama also wrote the comic. So there was that crossover. The cartoon itself is genius on its own. because that's what I followed. I followed that mainly.
Oh, right.
But I recognize the comic, even though I haven't read them all, as what the G.I. Joe Bible should follow, if you will. Because Larry Hama wrote the file cards to the action figures, and the action figures are what is the whole reason for this thing happening. The comics, the cartoon, it's all about that. So when it gets down to it, the comics and Larry Hama, that's the basis of it all. And that marketing was genius. And they used the cartoon to advertise the comics originally. That's how the cartoon got started. The comic book had a commercial that was a 30, no, not even 30, it was like 15 or 10 to 15 seconds of a cartoon, and then the rest of it was about the comic or something like that.
Well, so John, listen, there's like a minute left of this broadcast, and then I got to get back to wedding videos. But I'm so glad that we were able to talk about G.I. Joe. I've been wanting to do this, and I'm so happy that. Where are some of your favorite forums that people could actually find you in there?
Oh.
In addition to listening to Forgotten Tales.
There's a vintage G.I. Joe forum for 1982 through 1994. I can't remember the exact name. I'm on there quite regularly. So if anyone wants to know more about G.I. Joe, go there. That's the definite starting point.
Also Facebook, right?
On Facebook, and there's lots of great guys there. Many people that love to trade. Some people just throw stuff your way if you need it. Other guy, there's always something that's for sale, and they're always using
oh boy,
very reasonable.
10 seconds. Okay, dude.
All right. Hey, I'll talk to you soon.
That was an extraordinary message from Strong Body, Strong Soul in relation to Orson Welles calling up her podcast and leaving a message. Thank you so much for calling in. Just a very sweet soul, and gets along with everybody. Good old-fashioned high-vibrating conversations. And we also had an extraordinary conversation with John Garside from Forgotten Tales, all about G.I. Joe. In addition to listening to his podcast, you can find him in the Facebook areas and other forums dealing with G.I. Joe. This guy knows all the ins and outs. He knows how to repair these guys. He knows a lot about this stuff. So if you have any questions and want to brainstorm with him about that stuff, I would say find him. Find him. All right, folks, that is all for tonight's Inspirado Projecto. Feel free to email me, inspiradoprojecto@gmail.com, any messages, any audio broadcasts that you'd like me to include. Keep that in mind.